and welcome to another episode of Live and Wired, and Happy New Year, folks! We are now a quarter of a century in to the 2000s. Pretty fucking cool when you say it that way, but 2025, there's gonna be a lot of shit happening. There's gonna be a lot of great tours coming through I am definitely excited about, but as of right now, the show, is a little dry. I didn't attend any shows last week. There were no big, New Year's blowout shows that were happening. Anything of that sort. None that I knew about anyway. If they were probably happening in a few states over, but what do I know? Anyway, it's okay. I mean, I still had fun. I still partied. Still had a good time. And I didn't get lucky, but that's not the point. The point is, if you wake up the next morning, you're lucky enough. Now, as for the shows that are coming up, shows are pretty sparse. There's only a few that I got to plug right here, but they're important nonetheless. So this one is a little bit short notice. But if you're not doing anything tonight, then come on down to Urban Lounge because Eagle Twin is having their album release show. This will be their third album. Yeah, their third album. And yeah, the last one they released was all the way back in 2017, somewhere around there. It was a long time ago, but Gentry, their guitarist, singer, he is a man who likes to keep busy. And Eagle Twin writes a lot of long songs. So it's no wonder that this album took forever to fucking come out. Anyway, so yeah, Eagle Twin, they'll be playing with Dragster Gas and Gurgle. Yeah, GRGL, folks. That's the best we can pronounce it. That'll be at Urban Lounge. It's $10 if you buy in advance, but if you're listening to this now, it's $12 for you, sucker. So, sorry. Starts at 8 p.m. Head down there if you're not doing anything. It'll be fun. Anyway, on the 4th, there's going to be an emergency benefits show to help raise money for some of our friends to make ends meet so they don't get kicked out of their fucking house. Very noble cause. Very noble cause indeed. It's going to include the bands Garg, Dysentery, Griebler, Baom, Believes in Ghosts, and if you're seeing the flyer behind me, it's CB. CB. That stands for colostomy bulge. I love it. I love that. I love little stupid plays on words like that. Colostomy bulge. Well, that's awesome. Anyway, that's going to be Loathing Clothing. Starts at 6 p.m. Bring whatever cash you have. Bring something to donate to... just to help people out, man. Just help them out. It's the least we can do. Should be no labor. Be nice to your neighbor. Anyway, on the 10th, the fucking band Noogie and the Idiots, Debasers, and Don't Trust Anybody will be playing at Loathing Clothing. That's going to be $10, and it's going to start at 7 p.m. Loathing Clothing is a great fucking place to see all these local underground hardcore punk shows. It's going to be a riot. I'm looking forward to that one. Especially because DTA is nothing like the rest of those bands. DTA, they're an old school Salt Lake hardcore band. And I'm not talking like super macho hardcore, but hardcore enough to where they... don't really need to be wearing studded up jackets or spike their hair or anything. I mean, two of the guys are bald. There's nothing to spike up. But seeing a band of Don't Trust Anybody's caliber with a bunch of all these street punks is fucking awesome because you don't really see shows like that with such a integration. Jesus fucking Christ. Integration, people. Integration. You don't see much of that in the punk rock scene, but it happens. It does happen. It's happening on the 10th. 7 p.m., $10, Loathing Clothing. Idiots, Noogies, Debasers, DTA. On the 17th, there is a photography showcase happening at the Fellowship Sober Hall. It'll feature the works of Emily Lauren, Diego Andino, Jesse Carlton, Jade Whitlock, and Rick Avalos. And this will also have 3 bands playing for your entertainment. That includes Run Into the Sun, Portraits, and Sutures. That's going to be $15, and it's going to be starting at 8 p.m. And yeah, we'll just go a day further. We'll just go a day further past my cutoff point. On the 18th, and this is also because I'm playing this show, but on the 18th, The band Critical Rage Theory, who are a Rage Against the Machine cover band, will be playing at Aces High Saloon with the bands Clem and yours truly. Apathetics will be playing that show, and I am excited. Rage Against the Machine's one of my most favorite bands. I think I showed you last week how I got them fucking tattooed right here, but I'm wearing long sleeves right now. I can't exactly show off at that point, but it's going to be a fucking great show. That's going to be, once again, on the 18th at Aces High Saloon, and it is a grand total of $10 to get in. So that's going to be a fun time. Hope to see you there. I hope that you can make it out to any one of these other shows that are happening. And yeah, let's start off this new year correctly. Once again, Happy New Year, folks. Stoked that you're still here watching us. And this has been Eric from SLC Punkcast. I'll see you next week. Stay live, stay wired.
And now we go live around the world. First, Praganda SLC presents. We got a 1-year anniversary show. This one will be at Aces High, $15 cover. Doors at 6, music at 7. This is January 10th at Aces. You will get to see, looks like Alcohol, maybe? Al Ghul, maybe it's Al Ghul. Sorry, I'm reading the fonts. Folk Hogan, Satan himself. Pine Walker, maybe it's Pine Walker, Acid Hologram, Cudney. Some of these fonts are just easier than others, but nonetheless, cool stuff to go check out there on January 10th. If you're not at that January 10th show and want to go see some street punk bands and a hardcore band in Salt Lake, Eric mentioned this. I'm going to shout out to Cody at SLC Pirate Punks. Gave me the flyer at the No Guard show. So once again, here you go. Noogie, the Idiots, Debasers, DTA at Loathing Clothing on the 10th. $10, all ages. So I don't think it's all ages at Aces, as it's got to be 21 and older to get in that bar. If you're under 21, you know where to be. Otherwise, I guess it depends on which music you want to get into that night. Now we're going to go to Lucy. This one is going to be, I believe, in New York area. Interplanetary Travelers. Be on the lookout for a rock and roll event of mass proportion. It's January 16th, main drag, 7 p.m. Along with Lucy, it's Short Porch, 2-man giant squid, classic traffic, and beauty. What a beauty that flyer is. Then we're going to head to, where's this one at... Well, it's GOA, and they're doing their EP release. Plus, it looks like Holdouts doing their CD release, so a couple CD releases. On the Cinder, Do Crime, Bile Study, and this is at Mohawk Place. I have to imagine this is somewhere near the Buffalo area. So if you're going to be in Buffalo, New York, Mohawk's Place, 16 and older, and it's $15. Bands are going to start at 7, and this is on January 10th. January 10th going to be a very busy day, it looks like. Hopefully it will be busy in your area. We're going to go Saturday, January 11th, and this time we're going to Lakewood, California at the Regal Inn. It's a 21 and older show, 7 p.m., $10, and you get to go see Cheeseball 390, The Atomic Circle, Mulholland Drive, Good Child, and Better Than Sex. Next up, January 11th as well, this will be Gimpfest. Man, they're fucking awesome. This will be in Antwerp. They'll be with 1984, Hetlude, and Midnight Tattoo. 4 great bands on that one. Looks like they are celebrating 15 years of Midnight Tattoo, so go check that out. Next, we've got a Punks in Brooklyn show. This is also Saturday the 11th. Doors are at 5, so maybe starting a little bit earlier. Make sure you get yourself there earlier. It's at Woodshop in Brooklyn. Features Rebelmatic, Dragons at Noon, Troublebound, love Troublebound, RBNX, and J. Quev. I'm going to have to just go with that. Anyway, go check out Troublebound for sure, and I'm sure they're playing with some other cool bands that I'm just not that familiar with. All right, next up, Sheer Terror is heading on tour. They're 40 years of Go Screw, and they are going to be starting January 9th, and that'll be in Richmond, Virginia. Then pretty consecutive all the way through. Not a lot of breaks, January 20th maybe, but the first little bit, and you can see the rest on the flyer, but they'll be going to Charleston, Wilmington, Columbia, Atlanta, Gainesville, Tampa, Pensacola, Birmingham, Nashville, Memphis, Raleigh, Knoxville, Chesapeake, Philly, and wrapping up in Albany on January 25th. So you can go check out Sheer Terror touring up and down the East Coast. Noise has got some shows. Noise will be January 13th in Philly at American Legion. And on the 19th at New York City, Berlin. That's on this flyer. They've got another flyer here, so they must have some other shows. This one shows January 18th, and that is at the American Legion. So maybe the dates on that one. Oh, that is the 18th. I had it wrong. Well, you got one flyer there. It looked like the 13th. We're now on the 18th. This flyer actually shows the bands they'll be playing with. Love the Take. Fatskins are going to be there. It'll be featuring Mike Oxley with Strike First, so that's awesome. The other bands, the Backstabbers, Broken Heroes, Piston Broke, Strike First, Bullshit Detector, Intimidation, and Klaxon. This is something that you need to get to, this Code Blue in Philly. It says free for all ages. George and Johnny's birthday bash. I'm pretty sure I know George. I've met George at a few of the shows. The Winter Weekender in Houston. I was talking with George there. I talked with George back at the Crash Fest. Great guy. Go celebrate his birthday. And it looks like 2 p.m. on, and it probably has to start that early with so many killer bands. So make sure you go check that out. Sorry, I goofed up on the previous flyer there. This one is also on January 18th. We're going to go with Curb Stomp, Collapse, and Mudhead. They'll be serving cheap drinks, vegan food. It's a free show to get into. Collapse is a German band, and so is Curb Stomp. So I'm sure this is somewhere in Germany. Barak, and at 8 o'clock, I assume that is the city. Maybe that's the venue. I don't know for sure, but Collapse Punk on Instagram. I'm sure you'll be able to get more details. But a cool flyer nonetheless. Got a few more to go. This is Punk Night, Friday, January 17th with Adam and the Breaknecks, Year 001, 12 Steps to Nothing, Double Plus All Right acoustic, and then it's at the Fireside. It's $10. It's in Alameda, California. 21 and older. Doors are at 7. Another cool flyer. Again, I say this probably on every one of these episodes we do. We do it because it's just another cool medium of our genre. Not that it isn't exclusive, or it is exclusive to the genre, but just always some cool flyers, something else to check out to go along with going and seeing the bands, listening to the bands. On Friday, January 17th, this one will be in New York at the Wood Shop in Brooklyn. Doors are at $6, $15 in advance, $20 at the door, so make sure you get them in advance. You get to see Piston Broke. That's awesome with The Take. Recreational Outrage, Battery March, and Beat Cop. The Take playing some shows. Did an interview with those guys not too long ago. This one in Denver is next, January 17th at High Dive. Our pals in Battle Sites will be performing with Hell to Pet, Flight Kamikaze, and Fast Eddie. Doors are at 8. Great flyer on that one as well. There's Fistmas Part 6. East Coast, Fist You. It's a celebration and benefit for Bob Gibson, and it's the 18th, $6 to $9 donation, 7 p.m. until it wraps up, and you get to go see Fake Lighters, Chum Huffer, Bobby Ed, Sketchy, OC45, the Jukebox Romantics, Aggro or Die, and Shark Fist. That'll be in Kingston, New York. So go check that out. We're going to wrap up this episode with Saturday, January 18th in Martinsburg, West Virginia. You get to go see Wayward Brigade, Deliberate Strangers, FYA, and Meanderthal. And that will be at Tilty McFlipper's Pinball Bar. That looks awesome. Doors at 7, shows at 8, $5 for all ages. Thank you for tuning in to this episode of Live and Wired. We'll catch you on the next one.